It's easy to get wrapped up in big star trades when you're talking about the Warriors. But with an exceptional player proving his worth both offensively and defensively, Myles Turner from the Indiana Pacers will do just fine as Golden State look to lock up their defense and dive into the deep end, letting some inevitable chess pieces go. Be sure to click the subscribe button and check out the links in the description for more latest hoops content. With the Warriors clutching at straws to get back to their status of one of the best in the West, there's no doubt that they have to make some moves in order to gain the momentum that will make them a championship contender once again. With a steady roster of championship-caliber players in Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, Golden State just needs to surround themselves with one more key component and a couple of role players. Looking to tighten up the defense, the Warriors have a large looming figure in James Wiseman. The 20-year-old second overall pick from the 2020 draft has given the Dubs much to think about. Averaging just 21.4 minutes per game, the rookie posted an average of 11.5 points per game and 5.8 rebounds per game. But he has now been a part of some serious trade conversations involving a switch for the Indiana Pacers' Myles Turner. Another big center standing at 6'11", Turner was the NBA blocks leader in 2019 and 2021, and last year's average rebounds per game sat at 6.5 with an average of 12.6 points per game and a stunning 3.4 average blocks per game. The evolution of his defensive game has kept the Pacers in the hunt for playoff contention ever since his rookie season. In the 2020 playoffs, Turner averaged a career-best 4 blocks per game, 10.8 rebounds per game, and a marked improvement with 15.8 points per game. His three-point production was better too, 42.9% from the field in the playoffs. And for a center, that ain't bad. The Warriors have been crying out to lock up an established defensive player who can give them the revitalization needed since Andre Iguodala's departure. A pure struggle on defense was inevitable since the loss of Klay to injury and giving up a Finals MVP in Iggy, who still arguably had 3 good years left in him. There's never been any doubt that Draymond picks up the defensive slack as a floor general, but the 2017 NBA Defensive Player of the Year has had injury problems himself, playing the least amount of seasoned games in his career in the 2019-2020 season. With a young Wiseman looking to develop, the Dubs still need one more piece to seal the dam and add some much-needed protection. The reason Turner seems to be the target is not just because of his impressive stats, but because of his shot data. Allegedly, Turner allows opponents to shoot roughly just 50% near the basket on average. The quality of blocks is not all that meets the eye, as his persistent damping of the opponent's shot inside the paint is a killer for all who face him. Myles force opponents further out, which gives them a lower percentage shot. His game is absolutely smothering. Against the Dallas Mavericks this year, Turner turned up the heat with 7 blocks, 2 steals, and finished the game with a +15 plus/minus. His defensive ability can literally turn a game on its head and pull any team over the line for the win. At 25 years old, the ex-Texas alumni is out to prove that he's reaching the peak years of his basketball career. With 1 year left on his current $72 million contract, it would be obvious that some of his suitors have to clear some cap space. The Knicks have already been rumored to offer up Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox. Despite a thundering start to his rookie season in 2018, Knox has struggled as of late, not starting a single game last term, and his stats are falling fast. 7-foot Robinson, on the other hand, improved all areas of his game last season with a career-high average in rebounds, starts, and minutes per game. At 23 years of age, he's becoming more of a defensive weapon for New York. If that trade did go down, the Knicks could be a thorn in the side of many Eastern Conference teams, with Julius Randle and RJ Barrett freed up to do what they want. But let's face it, neither of them are trade-worthy for a player like Turner. The Charlotte Hornets have also had their hand in the cookie jar over the last few weeks, as they appear to have been involved in lengthy discussions with the Pacers over a possible trade for Turner. Charlotte has an incredibly poor defensive rating, so it's understandable why they would queue up for the new defensive king. But the Hornets would have to sacrifice one of their best players, Gordon Hayward, who averaged a cool 19.6 points with a 47.43 field goal percentage. While many might think this could be a step too far, it's easy to forget that the Pacers themselves have been chasing Hayward for quite a while, so the trade might just make sense. However, Turner would be trading in one mediocre Eastern Conference team for another, and at this point in his career, it makes more sense for him to take the risk on a team that can make a championship run. So would that be the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Well, if those two aren't offered in the trade, then what would Indiana even get for him? Robert Williams III? Marcus Smart? It's just not enough. Even with future draft picks on the table, the Pacers can't justify getting rid of arguably their best player with not much in return. And what's more, handing them over to another Eastern Conference team is not a perfect scenario. All of the above suitors are in the same conference. A rookie error is to give to your rivals. Whereas if they play smart and go west, they'll avoid backlash if Turner decides to give them a beatdown in the playoffs. So of course, we turn our attention back to the Golden State Warriors. With the Lakers' acquisition of Russell Westbrook in a blockbuster trade that saw Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP go the other way, the Warriors have to acknowledge that the West is starting to look very dangerous. The Dallas Mavericks are making some shrewd moves in trading for 21-year-old Moses Brown, a 7'2" center who impressed at OKC last year with his defensive efforts. This gives Luka Doncic more defensive cover to go to town once again as he edges ever closer to a first deep playoff run. If you think the Clippers won't come back stronger after their first ever Western Conference Finals, you've not been paying attention. Paul George has now managed to sweep aside any critics who claim he can't do it in the postseason as he averaged a career-high 9.6 rebounds and 26.9 points per game in the playoffs alone. As for Kawhi, well, let's not forget the last time the press wrote him off after his injury at the Spurs. He came out the following year with the Raptors and played stronger than ever, winning them their first ever championship. The Suns will no doubt improve as Devin Booker looks godly while at 23 years of age. DeAndre Ayton can only improve. And while the Nuggets wait on Jamal Murray's return to fitness, the Jazz seem to have finally clicked. Last year, Utah notched up the best record in the NBA and made a very good playoff run before losing in a close battle to the LA Clippers in the conference semifinals. All these teams and more pose a potential threat to the Warriors' goal of getting back on top. And with no sign of the Magic Three leaving, Steph, Klay, and Draymond are lasered in on one thing: winning. Once you get a taste of the good life, it's hard to go back. And with 5 finals in a row between them, they have to recognize that it's time to light a fire under their squad and add some much-needed depth. So who do the Warriors give up if they want to bring home the goods and provide their defensive end with the mastery of Myles Turner? We'll begin with Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins had a career-best 47.7 field goal percentage last year and surprised everyone with some hugely impactful plays in the back end of the season for Golden State. But what does that matter when you're a trade piece that can get your franchise another chip? Immediately, Andrew Wiggins makes the trade work because of his future $31.5 million salary owed to him next year. As for Indiana, despite their recognition of Turner's talent, it's clear that Domantas Sabonis is the man they are keen to push as the forefront of their franchise. The 25-year-old power forward also plays center and stands at 6'11". He lit up the stats sheet last season with a career high in assists, steals, and points per game with a clean 20.3. In the playoffs, he averaged 7.3 rebounds per game and 4 assists per game, again another career high for both. The Lithuanian son of ex-superstar Arvydas Sabonis is the perfect fit as a franchise player when talking about ticket sales. But that doesn't mean the Pacers should neglect the potential of who got them through last year. If they do trade up, the fans are smart enough not to accept a swap deal with a semi-elite player. It should be an aggressive trade as Indiana holds the cards with a much sought-after player, even if there's only 1 year left on his contract. At the end of the day, the Golden State Warriors are crying out to cover their corners and build back the name they feel they deserve. But with an incredible amount of interest in this future all-star defensive talent, they shouldn't throw a soft offer into the ring. It's time for the Dubs to get aggressive, take some risks, and become the team that had opponents on their heels begging for the pain to stop just 3 years ago. Myles Turner is just the ticket to a return to form for the challengers to get back on the horse and come again. Will Myles Turner move the needle for the Warriors and bring them back to glory? Comment below to let us know your thoughts and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot.